to call our meeting to order. If we would all please stand, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence. Allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America.
Do we have any affiliates here today or any members that this is your first luncheon? We'll start with our committee reports. This isn't going to be quite accurate from what's on your syllabus there. Property management. I'm going to do hospitality instead of property management. On the back of your flyer is the information for our Sunset Cruise. I would encourage all of our members and our affiliates, take some time. You've worked hard. This is an opportunity for us to relax and enjoy each other's company and enjoy the water and some good food. Carolyn Fry is sponsoring the food and the drinks for that event.
One thing real quick on professional development. If you have any newer members in your companies, in your brokerages, the Mastermind series, everyone that's taken it so far has been overwhelmed at the job that Charlie's done with it. It's great. It's not a specific class, it's more of a learning, fun environment. And they've just been overwhelmed. They've both given me letters of recommendation for it. So again, mention it to your members. We're going to keep it going. And it's the Mastermind series. Thanks.
David, RPAC.
Here. Really don't have a lot to report from, but one thing in Marathon, everybody was having rumors about our fees increasing for property management, building and all that, but they have changed it. They've taken it off the slate. They realized that it was illegal to be done. They were going to take $500 of the additional fees and put it to affordable housing, and their city attorney said they couldn't do that. So that's on the back burner for now, but it will be resurfacing as time moves forward, and we'll keep you in the loop as I learn more about that. Also, Monday night, there's an affordable housing meeting at 5:30 at the Government Center in Marathon. Got a little bit more involved with this because we're seeing a lot of things out there that people want to put affordable on their properties, but there just doesn't seem to be enough allocations from the city. The city gets 9 of them a year. The county has booked 700, and they have 700 available. We're trying to work something out with the county and the city to try to get more affordables out there. I had a long meeting with George Garrett on Wednesday, and we chatted about it in detail. The biggest issue is they don't want people to take and put a fee restricted on affordable and moving the market rate off and making money. So it's kind of if anybody can show up Monday night and voice our opinion, I'll be there and voice what we think or what I think it should be done. If you have any other comments about that, please see me and I'll be happy to voice your concerns as well.
Civic Affairs and the Firm Golf Tournament, Wayne Carter.
All right, I'm filling in for all kinds of people today that aren't here. Anyway, with Civic Affairs, just to let you guys know, we are going to have a joint Habitat for Humanity painting day coming up in the next few months. It'll be after the golf tournament because that's a big project for us. But we are going to have a painting day. We'll just need as many people as we can to come volunteer, wear your old clothes, and do some painting of a house to help out a needy person in the Keys. So that's coming up soon, and I'll be blasting that out, of course, to you. The Firm Golf Tournament. Your flyer actually says that we're at 28,000. Yesterday we had a good day. We're now at 31,450 and counting. So keeping in mind that thank you. President of Firm here, so I think he's happy with that. Yet would like to. A whole sponsor is only $100. You get your name and logo on the sign at the golf tournament. You'll be mentioned in the thank you and appreciations. We do blast out on social media. We'll do a full page ad thanking everyone. So it's a great opportunity for a good return on investment to help Firm. And as you all know, without Firm, it would be hard for anybody to own a business, own a home, rent a home, because again, if your insurance rates are too high, the landlord's going to raise your rent. So they save us all and provide business for us as realtors for sure, and provide availability for insurance for everybody in the Keys. They've saved the Keys residents over $500 million so far, and that not many people can say that. So anyway, if you want to help with the Firm Golf Tournament, please just email me. I will be blasting out an email to everyone asking. But if you want to help on the day of the event, it's Father's Day, June 19th. I'll be there with that.
Thanks, Wayne. Our luncheon sponsor today is affiliate Lesley Aaron with the Keys Weekly. Lesley, you have something to share with us?
Good afternoon, and thanks for coming out on this very soggy day. I'm Lesley Aaron. I'm with the Keys Weekly Newspapers and Tropical Living Magazine. We have some exciting news. We just opened our third office in Tavernier, so we are fully stocked in the Keys. We do cover the Keys in 3 newspapers and with our Tropical Living Magazine. I don't know if any of you, I think a lot of you have seen this, but there's one magazine I want to bring to your attention that is specifically for you. It's Tropical Living Real Estate. And this is a monthly magazine. It's in full color and gloss. It is distributed 30,000 copies, Keys wide. Again, this is monthly. We sat down and we decided that it was important for you to make this as inexpensive as possible. So you will see in this magazine, a half page, for instance, is $330. In our other tropical living series, a half page would be $475. So we have made the rates very reasonable. We have a lot of distribution boots on the ground that are keeping these stocked all month long in high traffic areas, in your offices, and so forth. So this is seen, and I'd love to talk to you more about it. And I think that's about it. Oh, one more thing. We listen to you guys, and we found that it's important to you, because I know a lot of you are now, using the internet and spending a lot of money on the internet. And we're in process, and we'll be launching very soon a brand new website that will be very interactive. And the ads that you place in our papers will go onto our website, and for a little more than what you would pay for the paper, it will be inactive. It will go right back to your own specific website, or call you, or what have you. So that's on the horizon and not too long from now. Does anyone have? All right, thank you so much.
Thank you, Lesley, and thank you for your sponsorship. If you've not used Lesley before, she and her staff are great to work with. They make it really easy to utilize their services. Our guest speaker today is MLKAR May. He is the president of FIRM, and we want to welcome him here to share updates with us today.
I want to thank Kelly. I want to thank Wayne. I want to thank your association. Before I get started with my 3-hour-long dissertation on insurance, which I'm sure all of you are looking forward to. But seriously, I do want to say thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. This is the second year that you guys have chosen us as your charity for the golf tournament, and we are very grateful for the money that has provided us with the and also given us the ability to travel, go to Tallahassee, hire, as you'll hear in my update, hire an actuary, and several other things that you'll hear about as I go along. But I did want to say thanks to all of you, because without people like you, we wouldn't exist. So before anything, thank you all so very much. I think some of you are familiar with the firm's story. We began in a Key West backyard about 10 years ago over windstorm insurance rates that were just going absolutely crazy at the time. A group of homeowners in Key West, literally over a fence in a Key West backyard, started just kind of going back and forth about the high windstorm rates, and FIRM was born. Now we're fast forwarding 10 years. Our mission, though, has not changed. We are here to fight against unaffordable, abusive, and rates that people just cannot pay for anymore in their residences, in their condominium associations, and in the commercial property. So the mission hasn't changed. Our focus now has expanded a little bit in that we used to be strictly fighting windstorm, but these days we also have to focus more so, believe it or not, on flood insurance. But I'll talk about windstorm and our reduced insurance premiums project. I'm sure some of you have heard about the RIP report. We inspected approximately 704 homes throughout Monroe County. Those homes were selected kind of randomly. They had to be just to prove the statistical validity. And I'm amazed that I'm learning all these new big words, statistical validity of the population. So the homes were finally inspected. We kind of miscalculated. We thought that once we sent out our contact information that people would be beating down our doors to have their home inspected. Well, it didn't turn out that way. A lot of people were very leery of what we were trying to do. People didn't want inspectors going into their homes. We had to repeatedly assure them that the information that was gathered was going to be confidential, shared only with them. We weren't going to report them to the IRS or Monroe County government or anything else. So that process actually took 18 months to complete. And it was just completed about August of last year. We have now, fast forward to today, all of that data has been compiled. That data is now being run through at least 2, possibly 3 different catastrophe models. With the information that comes out of those models, remember that the catastrophe models drive the rate that all of you pay, or that all of your potential customers pay. So we now are at the point of almost extracting all that data from the models. We have, as I mentioned earlier, we have contracted with an actuary. That actuary is going to study the data that comes from the models. And we are actually going to propose a Monroe County rate filing to citizens and the Office of Insurance Regulation, hopefully in the next 3 to 4 weeks. So we anticipate that obviously the rates will be lower than what we are seeing today, but we don't know that yet for certain as we haven't seen the data come out. But we're pretty comforted in what we saw in the preliminary data from the inspection process, that our homes, as we had alleged all along, are built to a much higher standard, a much tougher code, and has been for many years. As I go through this presentation, this is pretty boring for me, so please ask me any questions you may have, because I love to interact with people, not just recite stuff from memory. Please. So that's pretty much where we are with the windstorm report and citizens. We continue on the glide path with citizens. I call it the glide path to destruction, because it seems like no matter what, we still get whacked with a 10% rate increase every year. I don't know if some of you have experienced that. So while we were able to somewhat hold them back in 2006, that march of 10% a year over time becomes 100%. So we are still fighting that glide path. Hopefully with this rate filing, we will be able to put an end to the infamous glide path. I'm sure all of you have also seen numerous new companies that are coming into Monroe County to write business. They are depopulating policies from citizens. That has raised a lot of questions from a lot of people. The majority of these companies are what I call admitted carriers. They have been vetted by the Office of Insurance Regulation. They are covered by the Florida Insurance Guarantee Association. So what I tell people all the time when they call me with the depopulation letters, get the letter, go to your agent, sit down with your agent, and listen to what his advice is for you. Okay? The last thing that I do want to talk about and touch upon is flood. I know a lot of you have read a lot in the local media, possibly read a lot in the national media about flood insurance and what's going on down here. I will tell you that we are right now in the process of having our flood maps redrawn. That process supposedly should end by 2019. It's not just a cut and dry process that they have the rate maps redrawn and there is no ability to contest their findings. There is a process where we will be able to go and study the rate maps, see where they are, and if we have a problem, we can contest them. The other thing What is coming up in probably about 14 months is the reauthorization of the National Flood Insurance Program. If you remember back in 2012, several months before 2012, we had flood, we didn't have flood, we had flood, we didn't have flood, and it affected closings, it affected a whole bunch of things. In light of that, they authorized the National Flood Insurance Program for 5 years. And that brings us to 2017. Part of that reauthorization was the Bigger Waters Flood Insurance Reform Act. I don't know if all of you are familiar with that, but that practically almost destroyed our real estate down here for a while. There was then a legislation that was put together that kind of abated some of the worst aspects of Bigger Waters flood, but some of the worst ones are still out there. We're seeing it today with secondary homes. We're seeing it with condominium associations. So some of the worst aspects are still there. The only thing that I will tell you, we are fighting, or going to fight, but quite heavily for the reauthorization. We want to make sure that we keep our grandfathering in effect. A lot of people that are part of this reauthorization process want to do away with grandfathering, which would be utterly devastating for us. We want to make sure that we keep pre-firm subsidized rates. We would like to do away with the surcharge, the owner's surcharge they put on secondary homes down here, as well as the surcharges that they're putting on the condo association. So those are some of the things that we're working on at firm. It's quite a bit. You guys can help through your national organization as far as the reauthorization of the Flood Insurance Act. I'm sure you guys will be involved in that in some way. There is legislation that has passed the House, and it is a flood insurance reform bill. We at firm are not happy with this bill, and the reason we're not happy with this bill is because it also includes surplus lines or non-admitted companies, the ability to write flood. And the big issue that we have with that is that those companies are not covered by any type of a guarantee association. They are also not covered by rate or form requirements from the Office of Insurance Regulation. It has passed the House. It is now in the Senate. But we at firm are opposed to it just specifically because of those features. That pretty much does it as far as an update as to what we're doing at firm. Obviously, I want to talk about our golf tournament on June 19th. Again, thanking all of you, hoping that some of you who haven't contributed yet will contribute. But with that being said, you guys have any questions of me? Well, thanks again very much.
Thank you very much, Mel. Obviously, what firm does is impacts us all financially here. If you haven't made a $100 whole sponsorship, I want to challenge every one of you to do that. It's just good for our county. It's good for our business. Speaking of the county, we have a candidate for county commissioner. We have Robby and Majeska here. I'd like Robby to come up and speak a few words.
I want to thank Wayne for inviting me here. Wayne worked with me for, 3 or 4 years. We had a lot of great times. Every once in a while we choked each other, because we came from different political spectrums. I've always been a business person. I've always worked for myself. I moved to the Keys when I had 2 children that were born, kind of accidentally, whoops number 1, whoops number 2. I decided to have a small business in a community that I could be a part of the community. So I have a pet store called Keys Critters up in Key Largo. And one day the county came to me with this bill for $30,000 to hook up to a sewer system. I got $30,000. At that time I thought it was more than my kid's college education. Now that I have one kid in college, I know it's about 1 year's college education. $30,000 was a lot of money, so I got involved. I've been elected for the last 8 years up in Key Largo as a member of the Key Largo Wastewater Treatment District. It's a board of 5 individuals And we're the ones that set the policy for building the sewer. Instead of giving it to a contractor or just giving it this carte blanche check to somebody, we've checked every single penny on how we built that sewer system. And as a business person, I worked with other people. I worked real hard to make sure that instead of Almirada having to build their own separate sewers, we were able to bring their waste up to our plant, saving both Almirada money and sharing the costs of our plant. We were a little bit shortchanged by the county and the state on funds, and we ended up having to borrow almost $80 million to build that sewer plant. For the last 4 years, I've been working hard to bring that debt down because I don't like to owe money. And now the debt is down to less than $50,000. So we've dropped $25,000 in debt in the last 4 years because debt payments come out of rates. Right? So now, and I just see that David Greco is here. David Greco and I did I don't know, about 4 or 5 years ago, it seems like forever, I wish I could do it again. We did a class called Leadership Monroe. And in Leadership Monroe, if you don't know about it, it's a great program if you can do it. They take you for 6 months throughout the county. They show you how the schools work, how the police work, how everything works, how the environment works. It gives you an overview. And it's probably why David is your governmental affairs liaison now, because he got that bug. And I kind of got that bug. I've been to Washington several times, and I've been successful going to Washington and bringing back millions of dollars. I think total I brought back only about $7 million that we split between Marathon, Almirada, and Key Largo. Actually, with Marathon, or Almirada getting the bulk of it because they need the most help.
Yeah.
But we're working together, and that's what I want to try to do with the county. I want to be a business person looking at how we spend the money. There's projects the county is doing now. They're coming in 2 and 3 times over budget, and they're going, well, I guess we'll just have to do that. And I haven't got a whole handle on how much money the county actually owes. They say they have a balanced budget, but balanced budget is a tricky term. I learned in Tallahassee they have a balanced budget because when they spend $50 million, they borrow that $50 million and they only put on the books what it costs them every year to pay the debt on that $50 million. They don't put that they owe $50 million. They go, oh, well, we owe $2 million because that's what it costs a year for that $50 million debt. So I'm asking for your support. I'm running, I'll be the only one that has a job that'll be on the county commissioners. The rest of them are all pretty much retired. I have a pretty good working relationship with some of them, but they like the status quo. A county commissioner is voted on in the whole piece. So if I want to be a Key Largo County Commissioner, I have to live in Key Largo, but I have to get the vote from Key West. And Key West is 40% of the vote. So this is the 3rd time I've been down here this week, going for Key West. And it's a hard nut to break into Key West. So if you have any friends, can you ask them? I'm actually the only person running against a county commissioner. All the other county commissioners are unopposed, so they get a free ride. Nobody's running against them. And part of the reason is because you have to run up and down the whole Keys. The last election, my opponent won by, I think, a little over 900 votes. And most of that was lower Keys votes. She did not win pretty much in the upper Keys, she won in the lower Keys. So I'm asking, it's a hard job. Now to run for county commissioner, I have to pay $2,400. I have to pay it on Monday. Or I have to bring 600 of these signed candidate petitions. Doesn't mean you're gonna vote for me, it's just if you're a voter, you can sign one of these. I've been going around one by one, instead of giving them to my friends and say, here, fill out 10 of them, or have your friend. I'm trying to meet people and fill these out so you can see a face. So then on August 30th, when it comes to the primary, you've seen what I look like, and you've probably seen what my opponent looks like. And so I ask you if you could please fill out one of these today and think about what you want our county to look for. I just want to, my whole thing is I want to look at our problems from a different perspective. The county today is not the same as it was 20 years ago. So we can't solve our problems the same way. And the more I see what's going on, the more I go, I used to think the county was anti-business because as a small business person, they throw every roadblock in the building department. Oh my God, I want to talk about the 60,000 unclosed permits that every time you go try to close on a house, you have to close these permits out. So I could talk here for hours. Wayne, I'm like Wayne, we could be a twin there. Give Wayne a microphone, give me a microphone, we'll be here for hours. But if you could fill one of these out, think about it, try to look at the candidates. It's August 30th. It's a weird primary because it's not presidential primary. But August 30th is on the primary, and I hope you'll see Robby Majeska on that primary. All right? Thank you.
Thank you, Robby. I'll just throw one point out there. I'm not telling you who to vote for by any means. Robby and I differ a lot in politics, especially national politics, but I will share one thing from personal experience. Being around him for a couple of years while I worked on the sewer board, I haven't seen anybody work harder at a board than Robby did for that. He put everything he had into it. He turned over most of the work that he could to me so he could meet his duties and do as much as he could for that board. He went to every meeting prepared and had people coming in all the time for help and to talk to them about their sewer issues. So as far as his work in the government, he did a great job there. So anyway, just to share.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Robby. Good luck with your campaign. Our charity of the month is the Wild Bird Center, and we have Kelly Grinter here to represent the Wild Bird Center.
I love it how nobody can ever pronounce my name right.
How do you say it?
Grinter.
Grinter.
It rhymes with printer, but it starts with the letter G. I've been Ginter, Grinter. It doesn't matter. I'm Shelley too, by the way. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for having us as your charity of the month. Again, this, I think I was here about the same time last year. And we did not know, but last year we decided to move up to the front of Crane Point. How many of you are familiar with Crane Point in Marathon? I think Brian over there should be, since we're going to be neighbors now. He's going to be right across the street from us. We have decided, or I should say Crane Point, the Florida Keys Land and Sea Trust, has agreed that it would be better exposure for everybody for the Bird Center to, after 20 years of driving down a dirt road that's a half-mile long and has gone like this on occasion, to move to the front of the property. And it's interesting because I used to think, well, who wouldn't want to walk that far back there? Until I started to get older and it started to get warmer, and then I'd see people dragging their children around, and I have a 5-year-old now, and you know, these poor kids, they might not be able to make the walk in that heat, and a lot of people on the board agreed with that. We decided to move up to the gatehouse, which is right next to the Gulfside Village entrance, our service road entrance at Crane Point. So it'll make it easier for people who come to visit at Crane Point. Again, 64 acres. It's a big piece of property. It's a beautiful piece of property. And I've been there for 20 years. I noticed on the flyer that you have on the table there, that picture of me is like 15 years ago. I look like a little kid. Anyway, we're excited, and we hope to be moving the whole Bird Center before the raptors start coming back in the fall. So I'm hoping by late summer we will have moved everybody up there. And it's not the easiest process, as you guys are all talking about the same things. Permits, you know, we have to have a permit to disassemble our current cages, which are made out of panels so that they were just, you know, easily disassembled. Then we have to get a permit to reassemble them. So we just started last weekend with removing the invasive plants that are in the area that we're taking over. And I'll have to tell you, one of my favorite volunteers, Rick Roth, did a lot of hard work with his granddaughter, and we took out a whole dumpster full of mother-in-law's tang, Brazilian peppers, you name it, all that stuff is in there and it's got to go. So we took it out and it really opened up the room. We're going to have a lot of space for the birds. We're going to have a lot of birds on display for the public to see. And one of the things that we hope to get within the next year, might take us 2 years, is a bald eagle. So we're very much so looking to get, it'll be the first and only bald eagle in the Florida Keys, and we're excited. And we can only do that because we're part of the Crane Point Museum. So anyway, again, thank you for having us as your charity, and it was interesting because I was telling Ryan over here that I didn't realize until I saw a commercial, I think it was TV 88, that he even, I hate to say existed, but basically he's not a bird magnet, let's put it that way. I know a lot of people in this room are that find birds on a regular basis, so anyway, if you do, there's 4 bird centers in the Florida Keys, just so that you know. If you're at any part of the Keys, you can call us, or you can call any one of them, and we'll tell you who's the closest one to you. So,
All right, 1214 164.
164.
The majority of the funds are contribution from Royal Furniture and Ryan Elwell.
Yeah, without Royal Furniture and the program that they offer for when you refer business to them, we would almost not have a Charity of the Month program. So keep that in mind, keep that going by referring people to Royal Furniture.
Anything else?
You're good?
Thank you all for coming out on this rainy afternoon. I hope to see you next month at the Marathon Yacht Club.
Oh, one other thing I was going to mention, sorry. Just like Robby said, give me a mic, I'm here forever. The back of your luncheon flyer, please note that the firm golf tournament information's on there, how to sponsor, which is just as easy as emailing me and saying, make me a whole sponsor, I'll email you. The Luau Sunset Cruise information's on there, and District 4 Conference, which is going to be great. So I hope to see many of you there. Make sure to sign up and register soon if you are. Thanks, everyone.